Example number three, I'm going to go through and I'm going to highlight. You may underline the important information. This is a dieter weighs 217 after being on a diet for 2 weeks. The same dieter weighs 192 after 7 weeks. I am going to highlight this information. You are welcome to underline it or circle it as well. And now I'm going to put that into an ordered pair system. So time is always going to be in terms of an X value. So after 2 weeks, they were at 217, and after 7 weeks on the diet, they were at 192. Now we're going to create a linear model for the dieter's weight. So underneath this, I'm going to label this X sub 1 and Y sub 1. Let's make sure you guys can fully see my paper. Let me move this over a little bit. This is video number 3. This is X sub 1 and Y sub 1 and X sub 2 and Y sub 2. So how do I start with this? We're using that basic equation, y equals. So I'm finding the slope between the two lines. By the way, let's just do some prediction. We can see over time from 2 weeks to 7 weeks, they're on a diet, and we can see that their weight is going down. That would result in a negative slope if their weight is going down. So just to make that prediction, I'm going to put parentheses where I'm going to input in values. And now y sub 2 is associated with 192. Y sub 1 is associated with 217. X sub 2 is 7. X sub 1 is 2. We can grab our calculator and we're going to subtract now. 192 subtract 217. And we achieve an answer of negative 25. So negative 25 over 5 equals negative 5. What does that mean in the context of this problem? We're talking about time in weeks. So on average, from 2 weeks to 7 weeks, this dieter is losing, is losing 5 pounds per week on average. Okay, but we need to come up with an entire equation. So when I say y equals mx plus b, I'm going to replace that m with a negative 5. And if you recall us doing this just yesterday, now we choose one of the two ordered pairs that I prefer. So it's either the first or the second. There's no wrong answer. I think I'll choose the first. So I'm going to choose 2 and 217. That means I'm going to input in 2 for x and 217 for y. So I'm going to switch that up right now. Y is going to be 217. X is going to be 2. And now I'm going to solve for b. So this is negative 10. I'm going to add 10 to both sides, add 10. So 228 equals B. Not done yet. It asks me to algebraically create a model. So here's my equation. Y equals, we have a slope of negative 5x, and now I've identified the B to be positive 228. At this level of math, you need to know what does that, yes. Sure. So did you understand how I was able to achieve negative 5? Yeah. So then you choose either ordered pair. So I chose 2 and 217. 2 is going to be replaced for the x. 217 is going to be replaced for the y. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And if I want to move negative 10 to the opposite side so that b is isolated, I would add 10 to both sides. 217 plus 10. Oh, excuse me. How about 227? I bet you that's what you meant. Thank you, sir. How about 227? Thank you for calling me on to that. So at this level of math, you need to know what do these numbers represent. This is the average rate of weight loss between 2 and 7 weeks. This is the beginning weight of the dieter. So the dieter started at 228 or 227 and on average lost 5 pounds per week from weeks 2 to 7. Let's get started. How much did the dieter lose after the 4 weeks? Okay, so let's come up here. Y, and you know what? I don't have much room here, so I'm going to just bring this up. Y equals negative 5x plus 227. Okay, so I'm going to highlight what they're asking. How much? How much is it referring to the weight? So in this particular problem, if I come up here, we have an x value and a y value. X is in terms of time in weeks, and y is in terms of weight, and it's in pounds. Okay, so how much? I want to know what is the weight after 4 weeks. So I'm going to substitute in 4 for x, and I'm just going to do the simple math. Negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. When I add negative 20 to 227, I end up with 207. Now, at this level of math, it doesn't have to be a complete sentence, but even with the right value but no explanation, you'd get no points. So it could be as simple as this. After 4 weeks, the dieter would weigh 207 pounds according to this model. And it's important to say according to this model, because if they provided you maybe from 2 weeks to 10 weeks, they provided you an ordered pair that was from week 2 to week 10, it's possible that the model would look different. Maybe from 2 weeks to 10 weeks, on average, they only lost 3 pounds, and then for that reason, our prediction after 4 weeks would be different because we'd have a slightly different model. Let's go to the next part. Please underline what we're trying to find. How much did? So again, we want to know what is the weight. So we want to know what is that y value after 5 weeks and 3 days. Ooh, this is getting a little tricky. So here we go. You ready? X equals. So we know that X is in terms of weeks. So let's put down a 5. But then it's not just a clear-cut 5. There's like this additional days. X is only in terms of weeks. So this partial part needs to be in terms of weeks as well. How many days are there in 1 week? 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a calculator, and I'm going to calculate this right now. You may do this with me. Here is my equation. Watch how I'm plugging this in. Please watch how I'm plugging this in. When I plug in this portion, it's going to be in parentheses. Negative 5 times 5 plus, there's a fraction, put it in parentheses. Make sure that your calculator aligns to mine. And we can assume after 5 weeks and 3 days that the weight would be approximately, if we are going to round to the nearest tenth, 199.9. 199.9. Okay, what is the y-intercept and what does it represent? This is the b value. It's the y-intercept. 227 is the y-intercept. It also represents the initial weight of the dieter. So as they started this diet, they started at 227. How many weeks does it take for the dieter to reach 200 pounds? So you ready? Please underline how many weeks. This is not the y value you're looking for. This is the x value. We want to know what is the x value when the y value is 200. So I'm going to do the little algebra here. I'm going to replace y with 200. I'm looking at my equation here. This is my starting equation, and now I'm going to do the algebra to achieve the x. So I'm subtracting 227. I'm dividing by negative 5. 2 negatives give me a positive. And then, feel free to grab that calculator. 27 divided by 5, 5.4. Let's see exactly what this says. Let's see exactly. Okay, how many weeks? So it only said weeks in terms of a decimal. 5.4 weeks. Ooh, this is the trickiest and the last one. This is called decimal form, if you remember from lesson 1. Now we're going to go into standard form. So I'm going to do weeks, days, hours, minutes, and seconds. Okay, are you ready? So exactly how many weeks? 5 full weeks. And now each time we're going to go from right to left. So it's like the reverse of how we read. How many days are there in a week? There are 7 days in 1 week. So I take that remainder of 0.4, not 5.4. I take it times 7. Whatever the whole number is going to replace. So 2 days. Notice I have 0.8 as the remainder. How many hours are there in a day? There are 24 hours in a 1 day. So I take the remainder times 24. 19 is the whole number. How many minutes and 1 hour? There is 60. So I take the remainder times 60. And there is no seconds remaining. We have no additional. This is like 12.0. There is no additional seconds remaining.